Hey everybody, this is Jay with the Hesitation Station podcast, along with my co-host Tank. How's it going?
Doing good, man. Excited to be here.
I'm very excited. We are here at the Spectrum Screen Gala over here in Biloxi, Mississippi. And today we are joined by our guest, Dr. David Sandy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Call me David for my filmmaker tonight.
Okay, awesome.
Writer. Yeah.
You excited about tonight?
Yeah, it's the first time I'm going to see this film. I wrote it and I produced it, but I wasn't on scene for the shooting, unfortunately, because I was busy doing my last year of residency.
Well, I mean...
Or my last year of my intern year of residency.
Residency was hard for you?
Yeah, the first year of residency is the hard year. I'm in a preventive medicine residency right now, which is a public health, like Dr. Fauci, and that's known to be lifestyle friendly. But the first year is the year you work in the hospital from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., plus doing notes for 6 days a week for 4 or 5 week stretches at a time. So I put most of my writing projects and my creative endeavors on hold for a while for that in medical school. So once I was reaching the end of that, I had some money saved up, not much. And so my friend Lee has a lot of connections. So Lee Turner has After Hours Cinema, and he was my friend from law school. So he put me in touch with Michael Rodriguez, who's a director out in California, and I looked at some of his shorts, and they were pretty good. He had a nice IMDb, so he was going to offer to direct it for me. And that's how this project came to completion. And I think they shot last August. They've been editing it since then. So I'm really excited because I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
So I've seen 4 stills, and tonight I'm going to see my artistic vision that I nursed along. I felt strong enough to put up, it was a $2,000 budget, which is not much, but $2,000 budget to see in reality. So I think I'm nervous tonight too, and hopefully it'll all come together. So
absolutely. David, tell us about yourself beside, going into residency and filmmaking and stuff like that. Tell us about you. Let's hear about you.
Okay. So I'm in my 40s. So I've done a lot of interesting and varied things. So after college, I moved to New York City and I worked as a stock trader at the height of the internet bubble for 2 years, 1 year in New York, 1 year in Florida. And that was really interesting. The stock market crashed. So with the stock market crash, I was like, and it just flatlined. So I wasn't losing money, but I wasn't making any money. So I was like, I need to do something else. So I'm like, I'll go to law school. That's a good way to put your life on hold for 3 years and get this valuable credential. And that's where I met Lee. Law school was a fun time. And then I was looking to start a business. I was like, because I originally wanted to do tax law. And if you don't know this, tax law is incredibly boring. So I was sitting in class, probably my 4th tax class, and I had this realization, like, oh my God, this is boring. So then I went to the library one day, and I was flipping through, and I was reading a book by this divorce lawyer in Memphis. And I was like, this sounds much more interesting. It is much more interesting. So I ended up opening a law practice in Memphis. For 10 years, the first 5 years were focused on divorce. The last 3 or 4 years were bankruptcy. And imagine the client, imagine like a Grisham movie, but the big client never comes. Like my first office was, I think, 70 square feet with literal shag carpet that had to have been in the 70s. Very interesting cases. I represent like the wife of the dwarf. So that raised interesting issues. And I appealed things in an appellate case, and I got reversed that Supreme Court. So I got to do like real lawyer things. And the 2% of the time when you're arguing in court, it did feel like I was a TV lawyer. Like you do get that Boston legal moments. And actually, I guess I'm into film. Because like when I had a big court case coming up, I would actually watch Boston legal episodes to hype me up. And so then also my other issue is I always had struggled with weight my entire life. So I'd always gone up and down from about 350 to 400. And then like towards the end of probably 2012 or 2011, I started having some foot problems and I couldn't really walk well for a year, and I got up to 450. And then like in 2017, I started doing these 4 or 5 day extended fast. I lost down to about 230, so about 200 pounds. And I was like, this is really interesting. I looked into science. I was like, this is really cool. I started a blog for a little bit, and people started asking me questions I didn't feel comfortable with. And also, I was like, I need a credential.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, being a doctor is a credential. I always want to go to medical school. So I went to medical school. And now I'm in a preventive medicine residency. In about a year and a half, I'll probably open up a weight loss and fasting practice, kind of help people do the same thing I did. And a lot of my creative work is, or at least some of my favorite ideas are, I like an obesity angle to them.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be your first patient. I'm pretty fat, so.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, like, yeah, I'm about a year and a half out to being able to really responsibly give advice. So I could get a permanent medical license right now, but this residency will train me further, and it also has training in public health, and I want to be able to like do messaging and stuff for schools and things. There's a lot of evidence that intervention really works better.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'll pass this off real quick to Tank here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to see this dream of yours, this thing that you didn't think would be a reality? How excited are you for this to become a reality tonight?
Probably an 8.
Probably an 8. That's a solid score.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I mean, I'd be more excited if I like met the love of my life or something. I was getting married, but like I'd say a 7. Yeah, strong 7, 8.
Yeah, maybe like right there 8,
like 8.
And
Okay.
For the gala tonight, your movie's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us any insight on the movie without revealing the ending?
It's a
or
micro
twist?
short, so there's going to be a twist, and all micro shorts, most good ones, they just leave you kind of thoughtful to give away the twist. I'll ruin it, but basically, it's about a young boy from a disadvantaged background who's being raised by a grandfather who happens to be a criminal. And then he runs off and he ends up having an enlightening interaction with a Hispanic couple.
So we've had a lot of voice actors and actresses and everything on, and one of the questions that I always ask is, how do you go about with your creative process? Everybody has, like the actors, the writers, voiceover actors and everything have their own ritual or like things that they like to do to help them get ready to get the creative juices flowing, so to speak. Do you have anything on your creative process, or is it something you can just jump into?
I have 2 creative processes. One is coming up with ideas. I do struggle to come up with good ideas. So I'll come to me, I'll think about it maybe for a week or 2. If it's really good, I might like write a paragraph or 2, kind of get it down, outlined. So that's kind of the creative process for coming up with ideas. And I have like files and things of projects I have working on. Or actually, sorry, I shouldn't do speech coach. But so the writing process for me, one, I tend to write in big blocks, and also it tends to be the closer I get to the end, the faster and more I'm writing. Like at the beginning, I'm kind of a perfectionist. Sometimes I'll jump to the end. Writing locations, I seem to do best if I go to a coffee shop with some people distracting me and judging me if I'm not working. So, and then usually I work best when I get into it, and then it just like kind of envision in my head. And so the script for Gone with Jesus didn't take me very long, probably like 3 days. I have written one full length script that I would like to eventually produce at some point. It's a vampire legal thriller or drama. So vampire legal drama set in the South, low budget. I think that ended up taking me about 5 or 6 weeks, about 2 hours a day.
Nice. One last one, then I'll hand it to Jay. So regarding the film tonight, what brought that idea about? What led you up to coming up with the idea that you have, and then bringing out to film?
Ooh, that's hard because that gets really close to the twist. But there's a common way that something that there's a common way things are cultural naming convention in Latin countries that is frequently misunderstood differently here. So I was like, that's interesting. So I want to write a movie about that. And then eventually I started trying to think of like, what's a twist I could put on that? And then I thought of like the intro and the interaction and what ends up happening. And then I just wrote the script. So I guess I came up with something that I found was interesting. And I kept percolating, like, how can I make that into a short film?
Okay. I'm gonna ask this question the best that I can. Obviously, most directors, writers, producers all have inspirations. Like, if I was a writer or producer, my inspiration would be.
Yeah.
Are you here or not?
We heard knock.
My inspiration would be like George A. Romero. Do you have any inspiration under that? Like, do you have anybody that you look up to?
Like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote John Wick scripts, those are incredible. Like just the way you can just almost feel the action going through them. They're just flows. I hate to say it, South Park, The Simpsons. Those are kind of, a lot of my writing has a comedic element to it. So that's, I guess I grew up with comedy, like The Daily Show too.
Yeah.
Those are kind of my chief inspirations.
And you've definitely, being a writer, you definitely probably have gotten writer's block.
Oh, for sure. I have. I have writer's block. Usually I try to work on a different project and go back to it. And I'm not always sure that's the best method. Sometimes it might be better just to write something that's not good and work through it. But I've written a novel that wasn't very good, but I got it done. I've written a movie script. So I've gotten better over the years at actually finishing projects. So
Okay.
it's just a process, I think.
Well, can you tell anybody where to find you, or do you have any socials?
Yeah, I have my socials at Live Prudently, and it's mainly going to be like my old diet and weight loss material, but I'm also going to post material. So my socials are all Live Prudently, and my actual blog is prudently.com.
Okay.
The word, so it's prudently.com.
All right. Well, you heard it here, everybody. Make sure you go subscribe to him or follow him and check him out. And we will see y'all the next episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hesitation Station podcast. I am Jay, along with my co-host Tank. How's it going, buddy?
Doing good, man. Excited to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud and very happy to say that we got on the beautiful Miss Lisa London. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, you guys.
We are ecstatic to have you.
I'm ecstatic to be here.
You excited about tonight?
I really am. I love Lee. He's actually produced a couple of my movies, and we've become friends as well. And I love one great thing about becoming someone who is quote unquote a celebrity is that you can really give back because just your presence gets other people excited to come and give to a great cause. So
absolutely,
I'm very happy.
So just to let y'all guys know, we are still at the Spectrum Screen Gala. There we go. I know
it is a tongue twister.
But yeah. So you're here, and we're raising money for Autism Speaks. So it's definitely something that is close for Lee, close for you, I'd assume.
It's close for me in the sense that I almost always primarily give to children's charities or people with disabilities. And firemen, especially. Oh my gosh! After what we just went through in California, those incredible pilots and firemen, they really saved us.
Yeah, absolutely.
What got you into acting?
I literally wanted to be an actress from like my earliest memories of consciousness. At 4 years old, I used to make my dad take home movies, and I would basically be he would be shooting them, but I would be directing them, writing them, and starring in them. But my background in college, I went to college on a full scholarship for communications broadcasting, and I was actually my dad's a sportscaster. He was the first announcer ever of the Angels baseball team, and he also did golf, and he did the Bob Hope Classic for 30-something years. But I had a really good little career in high school and college as a sportscaster on CBS radio myself. But deep down inside, all I ever wanted to do was act. So I finally told them that's what I wanted to do. And my parents at first pretty much flipped out, but then said, okay, you have a few weeks to do it. And I landed the role in a film called HOTS, H-O-T-S. It's the female version of Animal House. It's a total cult classic. And I got the lead role, so I started in a really great position. Very blessed about that.
Out of what you've done so far, do you have, is there a role that's your favorite out of everything, or is it, because I know a lot of people we've had on our show find it difficult to pick one role out of everything they've done that is like their favorite. Do you have one, or?
I don't have one. I have quite a few. I've been so lucky that I've been in some of the biggest A movies, major blockbuster movies in the world. The last TV show I just did was the Emmy-winning episode of the morning show, and as of now, it's been on a couple more seasons after mine, and no other episode has won the Emmy for Best Drama. So that was pretty amazing. And I've also had an incredible career in low-budget films. I've worked with all the best iconic film directors. And nowadays with streaming, there's such a bizarre blend of where there's no A tier or B tier anymore because you don't know what's going to take off. Just for instance, I did this movie called Baby Cat and another movie called Big Bad CGI Monsters. The Washington Post just wrote this big article on Tubi TV telling movie fans, watch Tubi, because this channel gets really creative, wild movies. And I had 2 movies listed in that. And that's like a pretty psycho good honor. And those are the lower budget ones. And I'm just blessed to work all the time. And I've had a great career. I've also had a major record deal in the late 80s, and I'm still writing music. I wrote some of the music. I collaborated with the producer and my fellow star of Bigfoot or Bust, and I'm on the soundtrack album of that movie. And then I'm going to be on the soundtrack of another film that I'm getting ready to do, another Jim Wynorski movie, who's a total legend. He did Chopping Mall and a million other things. And we're getting ready to do Catwoman of the Moon. It's going to be, I don't want to call it a total remake, but it's his version of that for now, and it's going to be incredible. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Let me ask you a question that I've been wanting to ask for a very long time, but I didn't know how to ask it because we're usually on like a video call or something like that, video. So I want to ask personally, as an actress, why do actors and actresses, when they get interviewed, remember the director's name so much?
Okay, so I'm so glad you're saying that because I've been in this since I was 19 years old, and I may look super young, but I'm not. But I don't care because, age obviously is just a number. But I'm glad you're saying that even the younger actors you are interviewing do that, and because it is so important. It's so important because the director, it's still, film is not stage. Film is not radio. Film is not a music video, although the director's everything in a music video in some ways. But in regular feature films and short films, the director, they have to have the last say. Because talk about too many cooks spoil the broth. That's what happens in a bad movie. And the great ones, it's often just a total control freak director, and I don't mind that at all because I'm a control freak in the sense that I'm such a perfectionist, and I try everything I can to make the whole movie great, not just my role from the minute I was 19 years old starring in my first film. And I think that's just really, really important. And what I learned from Clint Eastwood, and I was in Sudden Impact as we turned to Dirty Harry. Sudden Impact was my first dramatic role. Every actress in this town read for that was a young ingenue. I thought for sure I wasn't going to get it because I had just shot a McDonald's commercial and I got the audition and I had to go from the McDonald's commercial. Okay, so you can still see I still have freckles. And when I was 20 years old, I really had freckles. And I'm thinking, I'm never going to get this. Oh yeah, my hair was in pigtails too. And the role was a total Las Vegas prostitute. So I got there and I read for the casting director, and it was this wonderful woman named Marion Doherty who she made history because she got casting directors recognized by the Academy and got their pay raised and everything. Anyway, she had a gravelly voice and she just went, "That was great. Still got to meet Clint, but I'd hire you." And cut to, I got the part, and it was just the most amazing experience, because to watch Clint Eastwood, not only does he get everything done on budget, he goes under budget many times. He directed me in such a way that I had all the confidence in the world. And also it was a nude scene. It was a topless scene. And he promised me it would be shot like a Renaissance painting. So it was very dark, where you kind of think you're seeing this girl who's naked. And then the entire scene, and it was a big scene, it set up the entire bad guy in the movie. Right. Did you see the movie? Did you guys see the movie?
I've seen some.
Okay, yes. So remember the girl in the hotel room?
Yes.
On the phone. That's me.
That's you?
Yeah. So anyway, we did it in like 4 takes because he knew what to do. I was so good because he was giving me so much self-confidence. And it's to this day, that will be one of my favorite roles, because it was my first dramatic role. And also I learned so much from Clint Eastwood. It's just incredible. And then Dragnet is also a huge favorite of mine, because I got to sing in that too, which was really weird. I was hired because I was a really good singer, but they wanted me to sing, like, not badly, but comically, like Marilyn Monroe. I have to sing the 2 national anthems. So that was incredible, because a lot of my girlfriends ended up getting cast in that too. And that was a huge, long shoot for weeks and weeks at Universal Studios, which was fabulous. And then I love working with this director all the time, Gregory Hatanaka, who has Cine Ridge Entertainment, and he's just the most prolific, wonderful person, and everyone connected to him is like my film family. And then I have a best friend named Corbin Timbrook, who also produces and directs, and his fiance, Shelby James. We are super close, and we've done movies together and plays together, and we do a lot of movies for this production company, Walker Cable Productions, that we shoot in Texas all the time, which is really fun. And I did a huge series with Lorenzo Lamas that they're getting some heat on right now. So that's really cool. And then I have a tiny part in a movie where they just loved me from the series. So they put me in this so I'd be in it. And I ended up working with my friends, Corby and Shelby, and then my husband. And now he was a huge actor in the 80s. And he didn't give it up, because he'll still work all the time if it's handed to him. But he's like now a top landscape designer. But anyway, he ended up getting one of the leads. So we were teasing him the whole time. We get you this role, because a huge actor dropped out. So they put him in it. Yeah. He got the part. And we kept going, oh, we have a few lines in this one. And yeah. And that's called The Author. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. They term it under faith-based. But it's just, if you have any heart and soul at all, you'll love it. You don't have to be religious in any one way or anything. It's just a really beautiful tale.
You just got to have some empathy. Is that the word?
Exactly. Yeah. Some empathy. Yes.
Look at me using the right words.
Yes.
So, see, when I saw you in Sudden Impact, I didn't even know that was you on the phone. Like, I really didn't. The only time I saw you in Sudden Impact was when you were in the car.
That was Black Moon Rising.
That's
my movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did you see the English version or the French dubbed version or the German? My fans send me stuff from all over, and I always post it.
The French version, and I was like, "What is this?"
Well, actually, that is my voice, and I was speaking French. Yes, but they had already dubbed it, right? So they said, "Can you just lower your voice?" Because I still don't have a low voice at all, right. And it was so funny. I was kidding around, and the first take, and they said that's perfect, because they wanted to lay it over. This is before AI.
Yeah.
So, oh, wait a minute. No, I just did this not too long ago. I bet you that's why they did that. Because on AI, you talk, there's a whole scandal going on about Adrian Brody in the Oscar.
Yeah.
Because they said AI did his accent.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, if you're going to let AI be out in the world, wouldn't you want to watch a movie with an actor having the exact accent? It's still his voice.
So here's our thing. We actually touched up on AI on one of our episodes.
Okay.
And me and him have talked about this numerous times, because we go to a lot of Comic-Cons.
Yes. Oh, you did?
All the time.
I modeled for a lot of comic book artists.
You should
Dave
go there.
Stevens, and you remember Dave Stevens? These were all 90s guys.
Yeah.
And Bruce Jones. He did.
I remember.
Yeah. Okay. So he's now a big novelist. I think they moved back to Kansas City, so I love them more than anything. But I don't see them anymore. But hopefully, maybe I'll get something there. But yeah. But the main reason I love my acting too isn't just to bring this connection. Every role I do, no matter whether I'm playing someone evil, funny, stupid. If I'm playing someone who's scared, who's happy, I try to bring something that everyone's going to watch it and go, oh my God, yeah, I can relate. Because as long as we keep that dialogue of I can relate, there's a chance to heal the world. And for me, the benefit of traveling all over the world and becoming different characters all the time is just this. It is such a rewarding life for me. And I've been so blessed. I mean, you could probably name just about any country that I've shot in, which is, and any state in America, which is so amazing.
Have you ever shot here in Mississippi?
I haven't shot in Mississippi, but I was here for a whole bunch of interviews and premieres for my very first film, Hots. And I was so bummed that I didn't get to go by the Biloxi Air Force Base because I'm a daddy's girl, and my dad went to boot camp there and became a radar specialist and then a disc jockey, a radio personality and sportscaster, which was all tied into his love of, being on that radio of some sort. So wonderful Lee Turner, who's putting this event on, he has military access, and he took me through today.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I was very excited. But I've shot in New Orleans, I've shot in Mobile, Alabama, I've shot in Florida, I've shot in Texas, I'm thinking of all the southern states. Where else have I shot? Georgia.
Well, that kind of leads into my question. Like with a lot of the movies being filmed on location, you've got like Lord of the Rings was shot in New Zealand. A lot of Power Rangers being shot in New Zealand, Africa, everywhere. Has there been a spot that you filmed in that you just absolutely loved?
Yes, and it surprised me so much.
Where was it?
It was Poland. I had been all over Europe. Now, my mother's heritage is Polish, and we found out recently Ukrainian. And on my father's side, I'm Spanish and Russian Mongol. So I'm a really weird redhead. I don't get white ever. My skin never gets white, and I don't burn. And if I get tan, and if I let my hair go natural, people will literally come up to me and go, "What nationality are you?" Because I get really dark. But anyway, I ended up doing a humongous commercial in Poland, Czech Republic, and Slovakia. And I fell so in love with that country. It is dirt cheap, the coolest people, the coolest everything, food, clothes, places to go. And it's really diverse in its landscape and everything. Just incredible. And the best part is my brother is 9 years younger than me, so he'll always be my little baby brother, even though he's 6'2". And he's losing his hair, and mine doesn't even have gray. So I'm very happy about that. But anyway, he had a horrible tragedy where he had a young wife pass away, and he was dating, pardon my French, but I'm just going to say it. This is probably so politically incorrect, but bimbo after bimbo. Sorry, they just were. And I said to him, quit going to, he was going to Italy a lot because he works like off his computer. So he would rent his place out in Boston and go to Europe. And I said, go to Poland. I know you're going to meet someone and fall in love, and they're engaged.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's really cool. Yeah. And he's living over there like half the time and then half the time here. And we go to Europe all the time. My husband and I, if I'm not working even, we go and we see them. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. Well, I think the last thing I want to ask you is, do you have any upcoming things that we need to know about or that we should know about?
Yes, I absolutely do. Like I said, Jim Wynorski's Catwoman of the Moon. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing a movie in March that I can't talk about that one at all, but I'm so excited about it because it's a hardcore drama thriller. And I play an ex-stripper who now owns the club, and I'm out to revenge my mafia boyfriend's death. And it's so cleverly written, and their attention to detail is going to be great. But I'll let you guys know as it gets closer. And then I'm doing another movie also in March called Femme Fatale. Mm-hmm. And I can't say anything else about that, but again, that's going to be really good too. And that's kind of it's kind of a quirky, I want to call it like it almost has this thing about clairvoyance in it and mystery. It's going to be good.
Okay.
And you had mentioned New Zealand. I was cast in a movie called Squeal one of the stars, to do a movie in New Zealand. And I've been so upset because the production had one problem after another, and the director was ill, and then they were getting different financing, that kind of a thing. So I'm just letting God that I'm supposed to go either to New Zealand or some other insanely magical place this year too.
Florida. Florida's very
I love
magical.
shooting in Florida. Yeah, I love it.
Magical.
So about 3 years ago, I literally shot 5 things in Florida in 1.5 years. It was so great. And of course, I haven't gotten anything there since then. It's so bizarre, isn't it? It's like you never know. It's just so crazy. And I'm just hoping and praying that my city, though, gets a lot of good stuff happening. I hope Greg Hatanaka and his wonderful company, Cinder Ridge, I hope they get going again soon, because I usually crank out a ton of movies with them. And the last one I did for them is called A Man Is Dead. And it was the most amazing experience. I'm praying it wasn't damaged at all in the Castaic fire. And it was at an old 1930s movie studio that is still used for productions. And I play this head of a movie studio who's obsessed with old movies. And nobody can understand why the whole thing's failing. And also everyone else that isn't wanting it to stay in the olden days is like a million years older than me. But my character wants it to stay in the olden days. And I got to sing like Marlene Dietrich, one of her songs actually. And I learned it right then and there, because I never say no to Greg Hatanaka. If he says, Lisa, can you sing this? I go, yeah. So that's coming out very soon. And if you go to Amazon Prime and just put in my name, all my movies come up there. But I also have movies on literally everything. I think I even have some running now on Netflix too, because of the big A ones that I have a lot. And then of course the morning show is on Apple TV Plus. And that's the brilliant Mimi Leader in charge of that, and one of our best female directors ever. And what else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm leaving out. Oh, and you can learn all about me if you go to IMDb Pro. You guys know about that, right?
Yeah. My editor's going to put it right there. Aren't you, buddy?
Sweet. IMDb Pro. I'm the pro.
We're still trying to learn. All right, anyway, could you look right there and tell them your tags, where to find you on Instagram?
I would love to. Okay, so I'm Lisa London, and like I said, go to IMDb and you can know everything about me. It even has bios. It even has my music videos with Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber that I just did. Yes, I'm the babe in that video, which is kind of amazing because they usually cast 10-year-olds. But hey, it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. And I'm Lisa London LA on Instagram. I'm Lisa London Fan on Facebook. And I love doing videos for people on Cameo. And Cameo is the good, decent one, by the way, because there's something else that I forgot what it's called, but that's not it. Cameo, you can find me on that. And it's Lisa London LA on Instagram, Lisa London Fan on Facebook.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in the next clip.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jay. Welcome back to the Hesitation Station podcast. I'm here with my co-host Tank. How's it going, buddy?
Doing good, man. Super excited to be here.
How'd you take this?
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce, we are so thrilled and happy to have the beautiful Miss Jennifer Moriarty here with us.
Hey, guys. How are you?
We are still at the Spectrum Screen Gala. We are here to do an interview with her. So how are you doing tonight?
I am great. I am actually so excited to be in this room with these two. I cannot even tell you. Oh, yeah. These are fans. I don't literally have people that see, my work and go, oh, my God, I recognize you. So that is great. Yeah. That is just
I bet you're excited, huh?
I am. Can you tell?
I could not tell.
I'm going to just try and keep it really clean and not swear because the boys were saying, I'm going to be really
See,
good
we're
about
good
that.
guys. We're good guys. But let's talk about you for a minute.
Okay.
Let's talk about Jennifer. What about you? What do you like? Do you like hiking? Do you like going out? What do you like?
I am like super boring. Actually, even though I come off like I'm this really vivacious personality, I am kind of a homebody a little bit. But we live on a ranch in Santa Clarita. I don't know if you guys know that. It's called the Roca Villa Ranch. You can Google that and it'll show you this amazing house that was built by actually, he was the largest producer of pornographic DVDs. I hope I can say that, but in the country. And he was from Cuba, a music producer, super like creative. And he built this sort of sprawling building after building. It's like the Westchester House, right?
Yeah.
And we film a lot of horror movies there. And that's what I do. I like to make movies, and in particular, horror movies. That's my favorite.
I'm a big fan of horror movies.
Absolutely.
Are you?
Huge fan of horror movies.
Yeah, we both are. My wife actually has on her chest right here. She has like a little chibi version of Michael. It's Michael, Freddy, and Chucky, I believe. Is it?
Okay, so
Jason.
And Jason.
well, guess what's going to happen? Soon she's going to have a 19-year-old blonde in a beehive called Mary Day, and that's going to be like right above
right
Chucky.
here.
Yeah, she can be with the axe next to Chucky's. So that's my new superhero that I wrote in Mary Day and the Scream Queens, and I think you guys are going to really dig that. I think you're going to love that.
Absolutely. Is that a newer movie?
That's brand new. We shot that this year, and in fact, I have 4 of the kind of reigning Scream Queens from the 80s. I have Brink Stevens, you guys might know her, and Michelle Bauer and Lisa London that you just interviewed. And then I'm also one of the 4 Scream Queens. And then Jennifer Moriarty, who is just a major badass actress. She lives in New York City. She is Mary Day, and just gorgeous, 5'10", little beanpole girl that becomes just your worst nightmare. And it is a really bloody, I guess the trailer was playing here, and they were, the guy rigging it up was freaking out over all the blood in all of the images. So it should appeal to you guys.
I mean, considering that we both went into Terrifier and we were just like, oh.
Good. Did you like it?
We loved it.
Okay. How about Daniel Roebuck? Can we hear it for Daniel Roebuck? He was a Santa Claus.
The big Santa?
The big guy,
yeah,
right?
The one that got murdered. Yeah.
The one that gets murdered. So Daniel Roebuck and I just finished a movie called The House on Haunted Hill. So I star in that with opposite Daniel. And that has not really come out yet. That is, getting pressed for DVDs and stuff. But
like
Dustin Ferguson, it is a remake,
okay, yeah.
and total different twist on it. It happens like 20 years later in the 70s. And yeah, I play the psychic that takes a tour into the old house on Haunted Hill. And Daniel Roebuck is the newscaster that I won't give it away. But yeah, he's amazing to work with. He's a journeyman actor who's been around in like Matlock and a million, Lost. And remember that series Lost? Yeah. He's been in a million things, but he's a Santa in Terrifier. And so I had the pleasure of getting cast opposite him.
I didn't even know that was him. That was so cool.
Yeah, he's badass. Yeah.
I just want to say he got done dirty in that movie. I feel so bad for him.
The funny thing about it is that he plays Santa. He has his own Santa movie that they produced, a good Santa. Yeah. And I think he just got cast in another one. So, I mean, he plays the role in so many different, ways that I think this was an interesting take on him, on his characters that he traditionally does. I think it was pretty exciting for him to do it. I'd like to be in a Terrifier.
Oh, that would be
Terrifier
awesome.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to be coming out with it.
Yeah, he's already done the script as far as I know. He put it on Instagram.
The thing is, they've just got to get exposure to like my casting. So hopefully, with your fabulous podcast, we can really get.
Oh no, we're not that big yet. Yeah, I said yet.
We're gonna change that.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm over here striving for 1,000 followers. Just because if I get 1,000 followers,
I'm gonna smack him in the face with a pie.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So let's talk about one of my favorite things, and one of the things I've known you for was the Five Finger Death Punch music video. We are both Five Finger Death Punch fans, and you were the lady in the blue suit that was the compliant or exempt.
Yes.
And then you unleashed your man hounds.
Right.
Is that what you call
My
them?
anarchists, yes. The whole I mean, this was, so first of all, I just have to explain that when I walked in the room, I'm like, I really don't know these guys, whatever. I'm not even sure what we're doing here. But when you said that you had seen Five Finger Death Punch and you guys were huge fans and of Starset, I was like, that just made my whole month. I have to tell you, that was so exciting. And that was a really crazy, I'll tell you a little bit, if I can, about the whole process. That is directed, those music videos were directed by Nick Peterson out of Hollywood. He does a lot of Tommy Lee. He is a huge music video producer. And a casting came out on Actors Access. And I was just in a changing agencies at the time. It was right when COVID was kind of toilet paper. You could not find Diet Coke anywhere. But toilet paper was like people were running into Costco. Remember? Pushing carts and shoving you out of the way. And I am like, what the heck? This casting comes up, and it was kind of controversial casting. And I get called back, and it was this huge monologue, and it was, she needs to be a queen. And I thought, what is this? And it was this really beautifully written monologue. And I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I got called back. There were like 800 some people for this role. I got called back. And then the director calls me and goes, you got this role. What size shoe do you wear? I'm like, shoe? What? And he was like, okay, how tall are you? Because it was not an in-person audition. Mm-hmm. We did back then. That's when self-tapes first started. So I show up, and it's in San Pedro in this weird little Irish bar. And everybody's behind masks. Everybody's like making sure you're COVID compliant. You have to show your card. It's super intense. And this guy comes out. He's got a big beard. He's so chill. And the band was not there that day. I filmed, and he's like, I just want to tell you one thing. You're Nancy Pelosi. All right, this is basically who you are. You are doing whatever the frick you want, and you're wearing this, exempt button, and everyone else has to be compliant. And you're going to have the anarchist hounds, and they're basically like, kind of looking like they're nude underneath these strappings and everything. It was pretty crazy. And so we started filming it, and I slapped the boys in the butt, and I held the chains, the leash. The leashes were made out of these huge chains. And the director is like, Jen, what do you, just do what you want. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, there's an ice cream truck coming up, and you just see that American flag and the toilet paper. We've got the zombies hoarding the toilet paper. And he goes, I just want you to go batshit crazy. And it was like unleash the hounds. It was so exciting because there was, I got to crash everything. I mean, it was just a smash up, fabulous time. But yeah, anyway, it was great. If you haven't watched it, Five Finger Death Punch, Living the Dream.
My wonderful editor right here. It's right here. Yeah, go watch it.
It's badass. And you know what the thing about that? You know what's so amazing about that? The band, the lead singer in the band wrote that. And it was so, like, I don't know, it's had, 10 million views, 8 million views. I don't know. It's millions of views. But it was so controversial when it first came out that people were freaking out about, she's Nancy Pelosi. Like, I got hate. I got a lot of hate comments about that. And I know we're not supposed to talk politics, but it was such a balance because they showed both sides of what was happening. And it was, from this band, such an intellectual statement on what we as Americans were doing and what was happening. And it was just how we treated one another. And I didn't realize the impact it would have, but it was really one of the big things that launched my career. Yeah.
Ivan is one of those guys that he's known for not giving a fuck. So that's kind of where that stems from at that point.
Yeah. And he did it great, but it was like such a complete story arc, right? So you see this incredible story being told with the music behind it, beautiful cinematography. And then Starset was so different because that was a very futuristic storyline. It was very complicated. It was made, and I think several parts of the story were put together. We filmed that at the director's house. And I will not forget that. I was really excited when the director called me back up and he goes, I loved working with you. I want to work with you again. And I didn't know the band. And he said, now I'm going to cast you. I said, that's fabulous. And then all of a sudden I get the casting and it says, old woman, basically, disgusting old woman who turns into a young woman, but you're not playing the young woman. You're going to play the old woman who like puts the little pod on her forehead or whatever on her temple. And so, oh my God, it was such an insanely like kind of devastating casting because you're like, oh God, I'm going to make this beautiful music video and I've got to play this awful person. But again, it turned out to be this amazing experience because I was like, he goes, just unleash, just let it go. And so he had this huge mirror, and I got to I was just looking at myself, my hideous old reflection in the mirror, and spit on the mirror, and I'm smearing it. And it's like this, it was so cathartic. And it turned out, I think you like the video?
What's the song called?
I think it's the Icarus, right?
Yeah, I'm just making sure you tell them.
I'm sorry, Icarus, Starset, and Nick Peterson, look him up too. But yeah, it was just, he kept all of that in me, just completely and friendly. And it was hard because I was opposite. He cast my younger self, and she looks a lot like me when I was 20 something. And it was really difficult. And it was one of those things in Hollywood, well, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about, but Hollywood's a tough place to be when you're over 40 years old. And for me, starting my career really late in Hollywood, I came from a very different place as an actor. I was classically trained. I went to a fancy drama school and was a stage actress. I mean, I joke around about this, but it's like I played the greatest female roles in American and European literature, right? Just like amazing, Hedda Gabler, amazing, Shakespeare, all that. And coming to Hollywood, where it's all about what you look like, they don't even like, it was just so, no, yes, no, you're too tall, you're too thin, you're whatever, you're too blonde, your eyes are too green. It just got to the point where I would get sent into castings for, Adidas shoes, and everybody else is 25, and I'm like, my age, not going to tell you.
26.
27, 26, 30, 35, 42. And you realize,
31.
damn, what am I doing in here? And that's really, to be honest, this is my segue. That's really what happened when I started deciding I don't want to have the agent that sends me out for every Fritos commercial or, Depends diapers. Not that I ever did that. I didn't. Okay. I did draw a line somewhere, but you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, or the worst, shittiest movie roles, or, oh my God, you want a 1 line or 3 lines on, on NCIS or whatever. It became this moment where I realized I used to write. I need to write stories. I need to write great stories, great roles for women. And I need to write about the things that women fight and battle for, because all my life, that's what I've been doing. And using those life experience from people I know and love, and creating roles for women that are freaking great actors that are older and younger. Mary Day is a good example of roles for women. One of the stars in the movie is 70 years old, and she's a badass, and she's made over 300 and some movies. And to be able to have her be one of the witches that is these ceremonial dances. We had a choreographer from the Joffrey Ballet, used to be in the Joffrey Ballet. She's amazing. I mean, the witch, the ceremonial movement and everything that happens, the way these women die, it is visceral and gut-wrenching. And the acting is, all of a sudden you're like, damn, you're freaking great. You're great. Why are you doing these schlocky movies? But this is what's happening, that you turn a certain age, or I don't like the wrinkles on you, whatever, and you get kind of shoved into this B-level movie making. And I decided I just can't see that. I want to play roles that are demanding and intense and make people your age go, damn it, that freaking girl is badass. Like, holy shit, I remember her, or whatever. And even for kids that are like, this girl that plays Mary Day is 21 years old and trying to break in as a 21-year-old blonde in Hollywood. Good luck. There's 5,000 of them. When I auditioned people for Laundress, I was getting like 1,500 women for one role. It was insanity. And you're scrolling through. Pretty soon you're like, no, I don't like her nose. Don't like her chin. You're not looking at people's talent anymore. And that's the world of Hollywood right now. It is very, very challenging. So I thought, I'm going to find great people and I'm going to create roles for them. I'm going to make magic with storytelling that is, poignant and visceral. And as I said, really moves people to want to see things differently, maybe consider circumstances that are they've never looked at things from the eyes of someone my age or younger or whatever, you know?
And it's funny that you bring stuff like that up because, back in like the 90s and everything, you'd see, Jamie Lee Curtis and everything. You'd see Tommy Lee Jones and everything. But these days, it seems like with Jamie Lee Curtis, the only time I've seen her in a movie lately, they just, not too long ago, redid the Halloween movie, brought out another one.
Right.
And they're finally, after God knows how long, they're doing Freakier Friday, which is the sequel for Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan. But other than that, I don't remember seeing anything with her in it or, like Tommy Lee Jones. And that, I think, is one of the sad things with Hollywood because it's like you said, once you reach that certain age, they push you to the side for, a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old or whatever, but you still have you might not fit the stereotypical role that they want, but that doesn't degrade the talent that you have.
Right.
And that's something they need to, understand.
I think as the population ages, we get more and more, the boomers are aging. They're looking for, let's just consider the genre of horror. They're looking for horror that is not the snuff kind of movies, right? They're looking for intelligent horror, and they're looking for stories that they can relate to, as well as young people. And that's why I say it's got to be sort of a multiverse in terms of how you approach the storytelling, the kinds of characters that create the world that you write about, and also the locations in which you film. I think in terms of like Jamie Lee Curtis, like she's so incredibly talented, but we never really got to see that when she was young. We saw these sort of not archetypal characters, but just the kind of people that the studios wanted to have her build her characters around. Now we get to see her saying, I don't give a flying about what you think about me, how I look, what my body looks like, how many wrinkles. Pamela Anderson, same thing. It's like they are letting loose the talent of their age and experience, show the world really what it is. And I just would add to that in Married and the Scream Queens, and even in The Laundress, which is also my new movie we'll talk about, but I wrote The Laundress, and Eliza Roberts, Eric Roberts' wife, plays one of the villains in it. They play the dynamic duo in it and play these Southern gentility. It is an incredible role. Those two together are scary. And, I don't know that I've seen Eliza in things like this, but I will tell you that by casting some of these people that are my age, even older, they are so insane on set. They are totally, whether they're method or they've been trained with Stanislavski, or actor studio. These are people who came through heavy duty dramatic training. These are not actors moving to Hollywood because they're pretty and they know they're going to get cast. These are actors who go through grueling, methodical training and have a skill set that they bring to camera that is, it stops the room. Like every crew member is. You can hear a pin drop. Not because they know they have to, but because they're moved.
Absolutely. You got anything?
It's your turn.
Okay, good. I will also tell you.
Wait, are we talking about Five Finger Death Punch?
No.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to?
No, I'm kidding.
I also have watched one of your movies that I'm a big fan of called Bloomfield.
Oh my God, you did.
I did.
Fantastic.
So can you elaborate on that a little?
Yes, absolutely. What would you like to know about that one?
So what did you go through with that one? Was that one difficult? Was that one fun? Was it what happened over there?
So Bloomfield is a story about a young woman who loses her parents, and she moves back to her aunt's town called Bloomfield. And what she doesn't realize is that the town has a secret. And the secret is that they're all based around witches. Oh,
y'all guys should go watch it instead of her telling me.
Okay, I won't tell anymore.
Yeah.
But I play the villain. I play
you.
the villain. You caught me. Okay. I play the villain on Tilda. And actually it was probably so far one of my favorite roles. A young woman, she was like fresh out of film school, wrote it and directed it. And, I'm a producer on that. And, basically she was starting to just write a very small kind of like a proof of concept. And we ended up funding that and saying, let's make the movie. So we filmed it in Bakersfield and Kernville, California. It was freezing cold. You been up there?
I've been to Bakersfield.
Okay. That's not a good place. So no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just that where we filmed was not so great because we filmed in the basement of like a really seedy, I don't know, apartment building or whatever. Anyway, that's where all the sacrifices happen. But what I went through on that one was that it was emotional in that it was a big cast. We filmed, little matter of fact story, we filmed in a home with a very elderly man who had a disease. We did not really know how ill he was, but he was joyful that he could sit in his bedroom like this room and look out the door and watch the cast walking back and forth. And we filmed it over like a year and a half. It took us, I believe, maybe a little longer, but we would film on weekends and drive out and film in David's house. And when we left afterwards, and there were like ghosts in the house, there were things that happened, doors slamming shut. It was emotionally, you just became so connected to this man. And the topic matter, because there was a lot of like demon stuff. If you like demons and witches and, sacrifices, there's a lot of that in the movie. Yeah, a lot of that in the movie. So we felt like we were attracting a lot of really bad juju, like it was just not great. And the sad thing is, can I tell you this little anecdotal thing? The sad thing is that after we wrapped the movie, his family moved him into a home, and he shortly thereafter,
That's sad.
It was really sad. So I feel like the movie has a special place in my heart. It's on Amazon Prime, so you can stream that.
Watch that. Watch it when I get home.
Right there.
Bloomfield.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound like a little baby, guys, but you scared me as Aunt Tilda. I'm like, I straight up was like, this bitch is crazy.
Did you love some of those scenes that I won't spoil? Oh my God.
No spoiling. Y'all guys should watch it. It's right there.
Yeah, I won't spoil it.
Right.
But I'll tell you afterwards kind of a funny thing about that one scene. I'll tell you a really crazy thing. But the young man, a lot of what I like to do as an actor, I'm a very method trained actor. You guys know. So that's like, pretty crazy. But I was trained with Stanislavski method in drama school. Very, very formal. We had just crazy directors and instructors. And one of the things that I love directing people is to put people in situations where they have the freedom to explore the situation within reason, where they're not going to hurt themselves or hurt the other actor, but to really allow people to create the world through sometimes something beyond what the director or the writer gives them. And in Bloomfield, the beautiful thing about that is that so many of those terrifying moments were all improv, were things that came out through really embodying that role of Tilda. And Tilda is the kind of role I think that she probably needs to be on the, what do you call the horror con circuit, right? Where people would love to have T-shirts with Tilda on it because she's.
I would buy it.
Right, you would buy it. Like once you see Tilda, you will never forget her. And I like to wear wigs a lot, so a lot of my roles, you'll see me in Mary Day. I wear a long white wig, and Tilda, of course, I'm a brunette. I'm a brunette in a lot of movies, but and I just finished shooting a movie called Anatomy of a Housewife. Mm-hmm. That's about the age of lobotomies, and I play a woman who gets revenge. I play a lot of bad guys, but she is badass. And Betty, pretty Betty and ugly pudgy Betty, I play both, and that's a really cool flick. That's actually directed by. It's a thesis film, but directed by the girl who plays Mary Day. She directed that, and that just got filmed in Los Angeles. That's a great movie too. So anyway, sorry.
You're good. So look into that camera real quick and tell us where we can find you at, like on social media. Oh
my gosh. So Jennifer Moriarty, follow me on Instagram. I post lots of behind the scenes for my movies. And have you guys looked at my Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got a lot of cool movie shots, and you'll get to see a little bit on the ranch. You can also follow us on the Roca Villa and Ranch. That's a cool place to see some of the locations that we're shooting on. We have a really big TV show that's shooting there this coming week, which is exciting. And then you can see me in Bloomfield. The Laundress comes out this quarter. Mary Day and the Scream Queens will be coming out in summer of 25. I know you guys will like freaking dig that. It's so cool and really cheeky. It's very, very fun, but very violent. So be prepared for that. And then Bloomfield is streaming on Amazon. And then I've got like a gazillion other movies. If you guys like Dustin Ferguson flicks, I've got Return to the Dark House of Mystery, The Dark House of Mystery. I just did House on Haunted Hill, Spider Baby. All of those movies are streaming on Amazon or Tubi. And those are this year's movies. I've been busy. Oh, and then Stokes River Haunting, which is some local Southern boys produced that and filmed that 2.5 years ago out here in Mississippi, where I got to see your hummingbird, like mosquitoes. So kind of Louisiana, Mississippi. I'm not really sure like where the state line is, but all I know is I was deep in the thicket of woods with no water. And but that movie's coming out. You're going to like that one.
You were in the.
Yes, it was definitely feeling that one. That way. Let's put it this way. The VRBO where we were staying didn't have a front doorknob, and their idea of a lock, no lie, was to shove a credenza up against it.
I've been in those places. We've been in those places, man.
That's a nice
one, Lou. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my God, my pleasure.
And we would love to have you again if you ever want to come back on.
Oh my God, I'd love
you
it.
and Miss London are more than welcome anytime.
I would love it. You guys are adorable, and follow these guys. Spread the word because they're just like, I mean, No, but thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much for your support too. We need to, just pump it up, baby. Follow me. All right,
guys. See y'all next clip. Peace out.
Bye, guys.